my beloved, as I sit here with the dusk settling softly against the windows of my room, I find myself holding my breath in a way I never have before, as though the very air around me is aware of the gentle trembling of my heart. This moment feels suspended between who I have always been and who I am about to become, and as I lean closer to this new horizon, I feel a mixture of awe and hesitation weaving through me like a delicate ribbon. I never imagined that stepping into this next chapter would make me feel both so fragile and so radiant all at once. The truth is, my love, I have never done something quite like this before. And the novelty of it, the newness, brings with it 1,000 questions that flutter wildly inside me. But amidst all those fluttering wings is the warm glow of certainty that this step is right, because it leads to you. I keep thinking about how life has prepared me for so many things, how I was trained to carry duties, to uphold values, to face responsibilities with grace and courage. But no one truly prepares you for the moment your heart must open in such an extraordinary way. No one teaches you how to breathe when someone else's future intertwines with your own. No one explains how a partnership, a union, transforms the simplest parts of life into something meaningful. And though I have faced ceremonies, commitments, and expectations before, none of them compare to the gentle, breathtaking weight of something as intimate as choosing someone to build a life with. It feels almost surreal, my love, to imagine waking up beside you, to imagine that our days will no longer be separate stories, but one shared path. I feel excitement humming within me like a soft melody, but there is also nervousness, a very human trembling, because entering a life with someone you cherish so deeply is both beautiful and overwhelming. I feel as if I am standing at the edge of a vast meadow I have never walked, and though the unknown stretches far ahead, the sunlight feels warm on my face. I know that beyond that horizon lies a future shaped not by fear, but by hope. When I think of marriage, I think of the quiet moments, the gentle reaching for each other's hand without speaking, the understanding in silence, the trust that deepens with every shared dawn. I imagine learning more about you every day, discovering the small details that only time reveals, the way you like your tea, the thoughts you whisper to yourself when you think no one is listening, the softness in your voice when you speak about things that matter to you. I imagine being there for all of it, your joys, your burdens, your laughter, your quiet reflections. And I imagine you standing by me too, learning my rhythms, knowing when to draw me close and when to simply let me breathe. But my love, even in the midst of all these tender dreams, there is a part of me that trembles because this is uncharted territory. I am used to stepping into roles with purpose, into duties with clarity. But this binds the heart. This asks me to show the most vulnerable corners of myself, the ones I have kept tucked away even from those closest to me. Committing myself to you means revealing not only my strengths but also my fears, my uncertainties, my small flaws I carry quietly. The idea of being so fully known, so completely seen, makes my pulse quicken. Yet at the same time, the thought is comforting because I cannot imagine anyone I trust more with the truth of who I am. And so, my beloved, as I prepare to embark on this new journey, I try to embrace all these emotions with grace. The excitement, the fear, the anticipation, they are all parts of the same story, pieces of a heart learning to leap. And I want to leap with intention, with love, with hope. I want to leap knowing that you will be there, waiting, with your arms open not to catch me as I fall, but to join me as I fly. Recently, in the midst of all this reflection, I told myself that I needed to do something new, something completely unrelated to marriage, something that would challenge me in a way that felt playful rather than solemn. I felt an urge to step out of the tightly woven patterns of my days and try something unexpected, something I had long admired from a distance but never dared to begin myself. Life can easily fall into predictable steps, measured breaths, familiar places. But I did not want to let fear restrict me any longer. I wanted to discover what more I could be, who else I could become. So one morning, with my heart beating noticeably faster than usual, I gathered the courage to begin this hobby I had dreamed of but always postponed. I remember standing at the entrance of that small room where beginners gathered, my fingers clenched tightly together, my thoughts racing with worry that I would embarrass myself or fall behind everyone else. It felt strange to be a novice again, to take my place among people who knew nothing about me and expected nothing from me. I felt humbly human in a way that grounded me. At first, everything about it felt foreign, the movements, the rhythm, the pace. I could not get my body to follow the instructions smoothly, and every mistake echoed louder in my mind than anyone else's voice around me. There were moments where my breath caught in my throat and I questioned whether I should just walk away, leave quietly, pretend I had never tried at all. But then I remembered why I had come. I came not to be perfect, not to impress anyone, but to grow, to feel alive in a way that routine rarely allows, to rediscover the beauty of trying. Every time I stumbled, I whispered to myself that all beginners stumble. Every time I hesitated, I reminded myself that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep going despite it. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. My movements grew steadier, my breathing more natural, my mind less clouded by doubt. I started noticing the small improvements, the moments where something clicked, where my body finally listened to the instructions, where I felt myself aligning with the rhythm rather than fighting it. And those small victories felt so sweet, more satisfying than I ever expected. They reminded me that growth is not defined by grand leaps but by quiet progress. What surprised me most, though, was not the hobby itself but the people I met through it. Strangers turned into companions, companions into friends. They were people who understood the awkwardness of beginning again, who laughed at their own mistakes and encouraged me through mine. We shared glances of reassurance, gentle words of support, and moments of joy when one of us succeeded in something we had been struggling with. This sense of community warmed my heart in a way I had not anticipated. It showed me that even when stepping into the unknown, we do not have to walk alone. We can share our stories, our fears, our triumphs, and in doing so, we lift each other higher. And you, my love, were always in my thoughts as I learned. I imagined telling you about my progress, my little victories, the people I met. I imagined you smiling gently, encouraging me, perhaps even teasing me softly when I described my clumsy beginnings. Every moment of growth felt like a whisper from the future, a reminder that life with you will also be a journey of learning how to love more deeply, how to trust more openly, how to grow individually and together. Sometimes, after a long day of practicing, I would sit quietly and marvel at how new experiences can illuminate our lives. They show us the edges of our courage, the strengths we did not know we possessed, the beauty of vulnerability. And in these moments of reflection, I realized how parallel this hobby felt to the journey of love I am stepping into. Both require patience, both demand courage, both teach humility, and both reward those who remain open-hearted. My beloved, as I take each step forward, I do so thinking of the life we will soon share. I want to begin this chapter not as someone who fears the unknown, but as someone who embraces it with grace. I want to bring into our marriage the strength I have found through trying new things, the gentle determination that comes from refusing to give up, the compassion I have learned through connecting with others. I want to walk beside you not as someone perfect, but as someone growing. And so here I am, standing on the cusp of a life I have never lived before, with excitement blooming in me like spring and nervousness trailing closely behind. Yet above all, there is love. Love that steadies my breath, love that calms my thoughts, love that makes every uncertain step feel worth taking. This is only the beginning, my love, and I promise you, I will walk into this new world with all the tenderness, courage, and devotion my heart can carry. My beloved, as the days unfold gently toward the future we are preparing to share, I find myself discovering new corners of my heart that I never knew existed. It amazes me how a single path, one chosen with love, courage, and a trembling sense of hope, can lead a person to uncover parts of themselves that have long rested in quiet shadows. I used to think I understood myself completely, that I had already learned the boundaries of my strength and the edges of my fears. Yet now, as I move closer to a life with you, I realize how deeply a heart can change when it is guided by love. Sometimes I wonder if you truly know the depth of what you awaken within me. You inspire a version of myself that feels both familiar and astonishingly new. Perhaps that is what love does. It reshapes us gently, like water smoothing stone, carving beauty into places we never thought to examine. With every thought of our life together, I feel a subtle shift within me, as if I am growing into someone braver, softer, and more full of purpose than I ever imagined. And though I step forward with trembling steps at times, I do so with unwavering devotion. Lately, I have found myself reflecting on the responsibilities that come with love. Not the heavy, burdensome kind, but the tender responsibilities that arise from caring for someone with your entire being. I think of how I will learn to read the quiet expressions on your face, to sense when your heart is at peace and when something weighs on your mind. I think of the way we will learn each other's rhythms, the way you retreat into thought, the way I fall silent when overwhelmed, the ways we will balance one another with more grace as time goes on. The intimacy of that thought is both exhilarating and humbling. And as I reflect, I cannot help but feel the faint whisper of anxiety threading through my excitement, not because I doubt us, never because of that, but because the unknown always brings a gentle trembling even when the path is filled with love. I imagine the moments where we might misunderstand one another, where emotions run high, where the world outside weighs heavily on our shoulders. I imagine the evenings when exhaustion makes us quieter than usual, when silence fills the spaces between us. But rather than frightening me, these reflections make me appreciate the depth of what we are choosing. Love is not merely the shining moments, it is the patient understanding during cloudy ones, the laughter after misunderstandings, the grace we give each other on difficult days. It is in these thoughts that I find myself turning again to the new hobby I began recently, the one that challenged me in ways I did not anticipate. There were moments during the practice when frustration tightened my chest, when I felt clumsy and inadequate. But what I learned through that experience is something I know I will carry into our marriage as well. That progress is imperfect, and growth requires patience. Every small improvement brought me joy because it showed me that even the most uncertain beginnings can blossom. And in the same way, I want to welcome every season of our future with openness, not demanding perfection, but cherishing the beauty within every step we take. There was one moment during my practice that remains etched in my mind. I had been struggling with a particularly difficult technique, repeating it over and over until my muscles felt weak and my thoughts grew clouded. I wanted so desperately to master it, to prove to myself that I could overcome the challenge. But the more I pushed, the more frustrated I became. It felt as though I had hit an invisible barrier. Just as I was about to give up for the day, one of the instructors came to me with a gentle expression and simply said, "Breathe. You're trying to force something that needs to flow." Those words struck me deeply, not just for the hobby, but for life itself. How many times have we tried to force ourselves into perfection? How often have we pushed beyond our limits because we feared falling behind or disappointing others? I realized then that growth doesn't come through force, it comes through trust. Trust in the process, trust in ourselves, trust in the purpose behind every attempt. When I finally let myself breathe, releasing the tension from my body and the doubt from my mind, the technique gradually began to feel more natural. Imperfect, yes, but fluid, mine. Ever since that moment, I have carried the instructor's words with me. They echo softly in my mind whenever I feel overwhelmed. Breathe, let things flow. And I think of how this applies to us as well. Our love does not need to be forced or pressed into an impossible shape. It flows naturally, growing stronger not through pressure but through presence, understanding, and kindness. We do not need to rush to become perfect partners. We need only to remain open and willing to learn each day. This realization has brought me a sense of peace, even amidst the emotional whirlwind of preparing for our shared life. Whenever my thoughts race too quickly or anxiety rises like a small storm, I pause and breathe. I imagine your hand in mine, your steady warmth grounding me, and I feel myself relax. It is incredible how the thought of you has become a refuge, the place where my spirit rests when the world feels too loud. And yet, the days are filled with 1,000 things that remind me of what lies ahead. Wedding preparations flutter around me like petals caught in a breeze. Discussions about venues, choices about designs, intricate planning that feels both exciting and overwhelming. Every decision feels like a step deeper into this new beginning, a gentle unfolding of commitment. But what I cherish most is not the grandeur of the event itself. It is the meaning behind each choice. It is the promise embedded within the vows we will speak, the devotion stitched quietly into every detail. The ceremony will be beautiful, yes, but what matters most is the life waiting beyond it. I often find myself imagining that moment, the moment I walk toward you. I imagine the way the room will fall softly into silence, the way my heart will thrum like wings inside my chest, the way time will seem to stretch and shimmer. I wonder if you will be nervous too, if your breath will catch when you see me, if we will exchange a look that holds 1,000 unspoken promises. These thoughts make my heart swell with warmth so powerful it feels almost unreal. It is a happiness I have never known before, a kind that reaches so deeply into my soul that I feel transformed by it. But my love, even amidst the joy of imagining our future, I cannot help but think about the responsibility of building a life together. For love is not only a feeling. It is a choice we make every day, and I want you to know that I choose you with intention, with clarity, with every part of my being. I choose the quiet mornings and the difficult nights, the laughter and the tears, the certainty and the uncertainty. I choose the partnership we will build, the challenges we will face, the dreams we will chase. I choose the version of myself that I become when I stand beside you. A version who is braver, gentler, more whole. And as I reflect on everything I have experienced recently, my new hobby, the friendships I've formed through it, the lessons I have learned, I realize how these seemingly small adventures have strengthened me for the larger journey ahead. They have taught me patience, resilience, humility, and the beauty of embracing the unknown. They have reminded me that support from others can make the heaviest burdens feel lighter, that laughter shared in moments of clumsiness can soothe the sting of failure, and that growth is always worth the effort. Those friends I made, the ones who practiced beside me, have become unexpected treasures in my life. They cheer for me during my successes and reassure me during my struggles. They remind me that even when stepping into unfamiliar territory, we can find companionship, understanding, and encouragement. And sometimes, after a day of practice, we sit together telling stories about our lives, stories filled with hopes, fears, disappointments, and dreams. Listening to them has taught me that everyone carries their own quiet battles and victories, that every soul walks a path with shadows and sunlight intertwined. This reminder fills me with compassion, and I know it will help me walk into our marriage with a heart even more open and understanding. Through all of this, the thought that keeps returning to me is how profoundly grateful I am. Grateful for the people who stand by me, for the new skills I am learning, for the gentle confidence growing within me, but most of all, grateful for you. You are the constant light in all of this, the anchor that steadies me even when we are apart. When I think of sharing a future with you, everything that once felt daunting becomes something I look forward to embracing. My beloved, these days feel like a soft, quiet prelude to the life we are about to begin together. They are filled with reflection, growth, and tender hope. And every morning when I wake, I feel my heart stepping closer to yours, readying itself for the moment our paths merge entirely. I am choosing this new world with you not out of obligation, not out of expectation, but out of love, pure, deep, unwavering love. And every day I am learning how beautiful it is to grow towards someone with such intention. This is my promise to you. I will continue learning, continue growing, continue embracing every challenge and blessing that lies ahead. And as we journey forward, I will hold your hand through every change, every triumph, and every quiet moment in between. My beloved, as I continue to walk through these days that lead us toward a shared future, I feel myself deepening in ways I did not expect. Each morning brings a new emotion, a new reflection, a new whisper from within telling me that I am on the cusp of something beautifully transformative. It is strange, in a tender way, how life prepares you slowly, then suddenly all at once, for moments that change everything. And though my heart trembles at times, there is an unshakable warmth inside me that grows stronger every day, an assurance that the path ahead, no matter how unfamiliar, will be one of love, resilience, and devotion. Sometimes I find myself sitting by the window of my room, watching the world move gently below, and thinking about how much life is shifting around me. The familiar rhythm of my days is changing, stretching into something new, and I feel as though I am standing quietly in the doorway between two worlds. The world I have always known and the world that awaits us. And in that quiet doorway, I feel both the softness of longing and the strength of becoming. I often think back to how much I have learned in such a short time, especially through the new hobby I embraced, a small adventure that unexpectedly transformed me from the inside out. It taught me to be gentle with myself, to appreciate progress rather than perfection, to accept that growing requires patience and humility. But more than anything, it taught me to honor the journey rather than fixate on the final result. And isn't that what love is as well? A journey, not a destination. A continuous unfolding, a deepening connection, an ever-evolving dance between two hearts choosing each other again and again. In moments when doubt flickers through me, I remind myself of the small triumphs I've already achieved, not grand victories, not applause-worthy accomplishments, but quiet, intimate triumphs, the kind that only the heart recognizes. The moment I mastered a movement I once thought impossible, the moment a new friend smiled at me with genuine warmth, the moment I realized that courage is not loud, but steady. These are the moments that remind me that I am capable of growing into the person I want to be for you. But there have also been moments when I felt overwhelmed, moments when the weight of expectations pressed against my chest and made me question whether I was truly enough. I would practice with all my heart and still find myself falling short, stumbling over simple steps or losing focus when I needed clarity. Those were the moments when frustration crept in, whispering unwelcome doubts into my mind. And yet, each time I felt myself spiraling into self-criticism, I remembered why I had begun this journey in the first place, not to be perfect, but to grow. Not to excel, but to try, not to be admired, but to be true to myself. It was during one of those difficult days that something profound happened. I had been practicing alone in a quiet corner, trying repeatedly to get a sequence right. I felt a heaviness in my chest, the familiar sting of tears that come when you are too tired to continue but too determined to stop. I closed my eyes, breathing through the tightness, ready to accept defeat for the day. Then, suddenly, I felt a gentle hand on my shoulder. It was one of the friends I had made, a person who had watched me struggle from afar and cared enough to step closer. "You're trying too hard to be perfect," they said. "Let yourself be a beginner. Let yourself feel the joy of learning, not just the pressure of performing." Those words dissolved something tight inside me. It was as though permission had finally been granted. Permission to be human, to be imperfect, to simply exist in the process rather than trying to outrun it. And for the first time that day, I smiled. A real smile, one that warmed me from within. That small moment of kindness reminded me of the kind of love I want to bring into our marriage. Not love that demands flawlessness, but love that embraces imperfection with tenderness. I think about that often now, about how I want to be for you what that friend was for me in that moment. Someone who sees you, truly sees you, even in your struggles. Someone who offers calm when you feel overwhelmed. Someone who reminds you gently that being human is not a weakness, but a gift. I want to be the person who stands quietly beside you, steady and grounded, when life challenges you. And I hope you will feel safe enough to let your guard down with me, to reveal the raw, unpolished parts of yourself without fear of judgment. My love, every day that passes brings me closer to a deeper understanding of what it means to build a life with someone. It is easy to imagine the joyful moments, the laughter that fills our home, the late-night conversations, the mornings we share in gentle silence. But I also imagine the difficult days, the disagreements, the compromises, the moments when our differences surface. And instead of fearing those moments, I welcome them, because I know that every bond grows stronger through understanding, patience, and forgiveness. I imagine us learning how to navigate challenges together, not by trying to win against each other, but by working toward a common harmony. I imagine us holding hands even when we disagree, remembering that love is the anchor that steadies us. I imagine us growing not just as individuals, but as partners, as companions, as two souls aligned by choice rather than fate. And amidst all this reflection, I find myself thinking often about the people who surround me, friends, mentors, family members, whose voices echo in my mind with wisdom and reassurance. Their support has become a gentle thread woven through my days, anchoring me whenever I feel unsure. In their stories, I hear honest truths about partnership, about how love evolves over time, about the joys and challenges that shape a shared life. Their experiences remind me that no two journeys are the same, but love, in its essence, remains a guiding light through every chapter. There are moments when I sit with them, listening intently, absorbing every word. They speak of resilience, of learning to communicate with care, of embracing vulnerability rather than avoiding it. They speak of laughter as medicine, of patience as strength, of gentleness as a form of power. And each time I listen, I feel my heart expand, preparing itself for the life I will build with you. My beloved, the more I learn, the more I understand that partnership is not about merging two souls into one identity. It is about walking side by side, each of us whole and complete, yet choosing to intertwine our lives out of love and intention. I do not want to lose myself in you, nor do I wish for you to lose yourself in me. Instead, I dream of a love where we enrich each other, where we grow alongside one another, where we support each other's dreams while building new ones together. And as the days draw closer to the moment when we take our vows, I find myself feeling something unexpected. A sense of peace that settles gently inside me, like the quiet after a long-awaited revelation. Yes, there is still nervousness. Yes, there are still moments when my breath catches in my chest because of the magnitude of what we are stepping into. But beneath all of that is a deep, steady calm, a certainty that feels like standing in sunlight. I imagine the life we will create, one filled with small rituals that become sacred simply because they are ours. Perhaps we will share morning tea, or walk together in the early hours before the world wakes. Perhaps we will read in silence beside one another, content just to exist in the same space. Perhaps we will fill our home with laughter, with music, with warmth. These images bring me comfort because they are simple, honest, real. I want our love to remain grounded in the everyday moments, not only the grand ones. I want to celebrate the mundane with you. The days when nothing extraordinary happens, but everything feels right simply because we are together. I want to build a future where our connection deepens not through dramatic gestures, but through consistent affection, thoughtful attention, and the gentle understanding that grows with time. My beloved, as I share these thoughts with you, my heart feels full, overflowing even. These words are not rehearsed or polished. They are the truth of what I feel as I stand on the threshold of a new life. And through all the emotions that rise within me, excitement, fear, hope, longing, one thing remains certain: I choose you. Again and again, I choose you. And I will continue choosing you, not only in moments of joy but also in moments of challenge. Not only when everything is easy, but when life tests our strength. I will choose you when the world feels light and when it feels heavy. I will choose you not because I expect perfection, but because I love the person you are, your heart, your kindness, your flaws, your dreams. And I hope you will choose me too, gently and wholeheartedly, every day. This journey is far from over, my love. In fact, it is only just beginning. And every step I take makes me more certain that the world we will build together will be filled with grace, courage, and endless affection. My beloved, as I write to you now, I can feel the weight of the moment gently settling around me, not as something heavy or frightening, but as something meaningful, something sacred. I am nearing the end of this long reflection, yet it feels more like a beginning than an ending, as though everything I have learned, everything I have felt, everything I have grown into has prepared me for the doorway that now stands before us. And with every breath I take, I feel my heart expanding with a mixture of calmness and anticipation, so deep that it becomes difficult to put into words. These days have been filled with so much learning, so much uncovering of truths about myself, and about the nature of love. I never imagined that preparing for a life with someone could teach me so much, not only about who I am but about who I want to become. It is as though every experience, every moment of doubt, every small triumph, every conversation with those I love, has been shaping me quietly, guiding me toward a better understanding of what it truly means to share a life with another soul. There are moments when I stop in the middle of my day, suddenly overwhelmed by the realization that soon everything will change. Not in a way that frightens me, but in a way that humbles me, because the idea of becoming your partner in all things, your confidant, your companion, your home, is one of the greatest honors my heart has ever known. I find myself tracing that thought with gentle reverence, as though it is a delicate thread that I must hold with care. And yet, my beloved, I am not the same person I was even a few weeks ago. Something within me has softened, deepened, matured. I used to think that love was something that simply happened to people, like a sudden burst of light that appears without warning. But now I understand that love is also something planted, nurtured, chosen. It is something that grows through everyday gestures, through patience, through understanding. It grows when one person listens with their whole heart. It grows when they forgive, when they show gratitude, when they choose kindness even in difficult moments. It grows not only in the extraordinary but also in the beautifully ordinary. As I revisit the journey I have walked, especially the new hobby I embraced with its many challenges, I realize how symbolic it has become in my mind. The clumsy beginnings, the fear of failure, the frustration of not improving as quickly as I hoped, the small victories that lit up my spirit, they all mirror the emotional process of stepping into this new chapter with you. They taught me that change is not always graceful, that growth often feels uncomfortable at first, and that resilience blooms quietly, without announcing itself. There were moments during that hobby when I could have easily given up, when I felt too tired or too embarrassed to continue. But each time, something within me urged me forward, reminding me that meaningful things are rarely easy at the beginning. That voice, the one that encouraged me to keep going, feels similar to the voice inside me now, the voice that whispers gently, telling me that the life we are about to build is worth every moment of vulnerability, every step into the unknown. And then there were the friendships I formed, the unexpected bonds that grew from shared experiences and mutual encouragement. These people, who were once strangers, have now become a part of my heart in ways I never anticipated. They have shown me the beauty of companionship, the comfort of being understood, the joy of laughing together over mistakes that once felt intimidating. Their presence has reminded me how essential community is, how much we can grow when we allow others to walk beside us. I think of the support my family and friends have given me, the countless conversations filled with guidance, reassurance, and love. I think of the stories they shared about their own journeys, stories filled with wisdom, imperfections, and heartfelt lessons. Listening to them has helped me see that love is not a path walked without missteps, it is a path shaped by them. It is a path where the challenges become opportunities to deepen connection, to learn more about oneself and about one's partner. Their honesty has grounded me, reminding me that even the strongest love requires effort, patience, and nurturing. And now, my beloved, as I stand so close to the threshold of our future, I find myself imagining it in vivid detail. I imagine the way your hand will feel when it finally becomes a part of my everyday life. The steady warmth of it, the familiarity that will grow with each passing morning. I imagine the sound of your voice in our shared home, the quiet comfort it will bring to my heart after long days or moments of uncertainty. I imagine the smiles we will exchange over simple things, the soft laughter that will fill the spaces between us, the peace of knowing that even on the most chaotic days, there will be a place where I belong. With you, I also imagine the moments when life will test us, because I know they will come. There will be days when misunderstandings arise, when our perspectives differ, when the weight of the world presses too heavily on our shoulders. But I do not fear these moments, not because I believe we will handle them perfectly, but because I believe in the strength of our connection, in our willingness to grow through challenges, rather than shy away from them. I believe that our love, if nurtured with tenderness and respect, will withstand every storm and shine even brighter afterward. My beloved, I want you to know that I do not idealize what lies ahead. I see it clearly, with all its joys and complexities. And still, with all my heart, I choose it. I choose you. I choose the future we will build together. Filled with moments big and small, filled with learning and loving and growing. I choose the life where we hold each other through uncertainty, where we celebrate each other's victories, where we comfort each other's sorrows. I choose the life where our dreams intertwine, where our spirits uplift one another, where our love becomes a haven for both of us. I want to become someone who lifts you when you feel low, who listens when you feel unheard, who believes in you when you doubt yourself. I want to be the arms you run to when the world feels unkind, the voice that reminds you of your worth when you forget, the presence that grounds you when you feel unsteady. I want to share not only your happiness but also your burdens, not only your laughter but also your tears. I want to walk beside you not just in the sunlight but also through every shade of dusk. And I know you will do the same for me. I know that your heart holds strength and gentleness in equal measure, that your compassion runs deeper than you allow the world to see. I know that you will be patient with me when I falter, that you will understand me even when I have trouble understanding myself. I know that you will hold space for my dreams, my hopes, my fears, and knowing this fills me with a sense of safety so profound that it brings tears to my eyes. My beloved, you have become the quiet certainty in the midst of my uncertainty, the calm within my storm. Even before we begin this new chapter, I feel the shape of your presence in my heart, steadying, guiding, comforting. And as I prepare to take this step with you, I feel gratitude blooming within me, deep and expansive. Gratitude for the love we share, for the journey we have walked, for the future we will create. When the day finally comes, when I stand before you and speak words that will bind our lives together, I know I will feel the world fall away. It will be just you and me, two souls choosing each other in the purest way. I will look into your eyes and see not only the love we already share but the life that awaits us. And in that moment, I will know that every fear, every challenge, every lesson, every moment of growth led me to this, led me to you. And so, my beloved, I step forward with an open heart, ready to embrace everything that lies ahead. I carry with me the lessons I have learned, the confidence I have slowly nurtured, the dreams we have whispered into existence. I carry with me the love that has grown quietly, steadily, bravely, within me. And as we begin this new journey together, I know that whatever awaits us, joy or sorrow, triumph or trial, we will face it with intertwined hearts, holding each other through every breath. You are my home, my future, my partner in every sense of the word. And I am ready, truly ready, to walk into this new life with you, hand in hand, heart to heart, forever and always.